Yeah.
Hey, it's Ryan. It's Ryan with 92.7 WQLZ. I know, now we're starting. Jamie's like, are we recording right now? And I'm like, no, this is we're trying to do as natural of an intro as we can with everything. So Jamie from the band Earthside, we have them on the Spotlight on Friday to highlight their new track with Daedric that's on it as well. But it's always, how you doing, man? We always like to welcome everybody quickly and just ask you how you're doing.
Yeah, it's off to I got some coffee flowing through my veins, so I would say instant human, just add coffee. I am now functional.
Good to go, which is good because your band is unique in a way. Like we don't radio. It's funny because you don't really ever play instrumentals on the radio. Like maybe a couple Metallica songs you'll throw in every now and then, like Call of Cthulhu or something. But dude, for you guys, I don't know if instrumental is the right word because you do have vocalists. I know you guys just recently finally had vocalists on a live show with some things, but tell me a little bit kind of like how Earthside kind of came together, the reason behind kind of being instrumental and kind of a little bit of what you're doing right now.
Yeah. So 3 of the 4 of us have been playing together for a while in like other iterations of the band before we became Earthside. And just growing up, I think we thought that the singer kind of would come along. We auditioned singers that we went to high school with or who were in our local towns, and it just never quite clicked or felt like what we envisioned in our heads as the voice we wanted. And almost 20 years ago, on rock radio stations like this one, the band Apocalyptica started working with guest vocalists, and that at least provided a different model where, hey, even if we're still writing some all instrumental music, we could start, contacting vocalists whose voices we love, and maybe they have their own projects they're committed to as their primary vehicles. But, we could kind of invite them for 1 or 2 songs and see what happens. So, and in years of coming up as a band, not having a singer, I think we developed a style of writing that lent itself to writing a lot of instrumentals. And also then when we write with vocals, having instrumental parts that may be a bit more compelling or, I think there's part of what makes our sound interesting is because we've had to learn to be compelling without a lead singer.
Exactly. Is this something, like I said, I know with you guys, I know you've had AJ Channer on, who used to be in Fire from the Gods. AJ's been one of the vocalists. The song we're featuring on Friday is with Daedric. We featured her on the Artist Spotlight in the past. Like, is this the long-term plan for you guys? This is cool because I don't ever get to ask like these kind of questions. So it's interesting. It's why I love doing these interviews like this, and you get to learn more. Like, is this like the long-term thing for you guys where it's like, we've been doing this for a while now. Let's stay the instrumental and let's bring in vocalists who feel match us, or is it, hey, maybe at one point we'll find somebody permanently?
Yeah, I mean, some of it is just a little bit rolling with what happens rather than being committed to like, this is definitely the way forward. There's definitely challenges in doing it this way. Like, yeah, when we go to play live, a lot of times none of these vocalists can come with us. And so instead we'll have, either TVs or projector or whatever sort of visual way we can, depict the vocalist visually, and then have the track of the vocal, guide track playing through the speakers while we perform along to it. And it kind of can create like a multimedia experience. And it, we describe ourselves as a cinematic rock band because there's so much film score elements in our music, a big Hans Zimmer influence for us. And so, it works, but of course it can leave something to be desired as far as some of these songs really will come across better live if we have a singer actually hopping on stage and doing it. And some of it's also just like the relationships developing. I mean, I think one of the greatest things about our collaboration with Daedric is, Kristen and Earthside, or Kristen being the singer from Daedric, Kristen Hope and us just, every couple of days we're, sending memes to each other and Instagram DMs, and the comfort level is really established there. And I think the more we've done this and the more we've gone the collaborative model, the more we've encouraged the vocalists we work with to be more involved in the creative process. We've let go of some of that control, and I think it's been more about the relationships and the friendships with these people. And so rather than chasing a new collaboration anew each time, starting to have recurring, I think we'd love to have Kristen on another song. There's other singers we've worked with recently who would love to have on another song, and many of them have expressed interest in on being on another song of ours. So, one thing I don't think we've ever done is written a song where we were in touch with the singer from the jump, where like
Okay.
we're basically build the song with them from the start, and that's something I'd love to do. So, yeah, I think continuing collaborative, but like maybe we have an album where Kristen from Daybreak is just the singer on that album, or we do an EP with just one specific singer, and then they tour with us on that. So I think we're open to what opportunities present themselves, and letting the human side of it, dictate some of it as far as what we're excited to do with the people we've met and connected with.
Like I said, it's interesting. I'm glad I get to ask these questions because it gives me a whole new perspective on how some of this works. Are the people that you work with vocally, are they the ones bringing in the lyrics? Are you working with them on lyrics, or are you just, is it just depend on the person?
Yeah, I think that really segues nicely from the last question. As yeah, on our first record, I think we were very almost controlling of the process, where we had written the whole songs instrumentally and vocally, sent them demos. Like one or two of them had me singing, one or two of them had our drummer singing, and sent them to the singers like, hey, would you want to sing this? And I think probably because it was our debut album, like we had such a specific vision, and like we felt like this was our chance to like express ourselves to the world, to make the impact we wanted, that we were very specific with the singers. If they even changed a couple notes, we might be like, that's good, can you do it our way? We were very like married to our version. And so I think with doing this more and letting go a little bit more, and when you mentioned AJ Channer, we wrote the instrumental for Pattern of Rebirth, and we had sent it to him, and then he wrote his, he took the whole lyrical and vocal direction pretty much entirely himself. We might have had like a couple like, hey, can you add a harmony here, or can you add sort of a scream here, or something like that. But apart from that, it was almost entirely his vocal direction. With the song you're going to be playing, Earthsink here, that song came about very uniquely in that we have a 12-minute instrumental on our most recent album called Watching the Earth Sink. And kind of like a Linkin Park reanimation, I sort of reformulated Watching the Earth Sink to just Earthsink stylized, which if you've never heard of Earthside before, having our first track that you hear being called Earthsink is probably a little bit confusing. Sorry about that. But
I was like, I wrote it down, so I'm like, that's way I do not. I'm like, hey man, this is Jamie from Earthsink, and it's like, oh god, I
here's the song Earthside. Yeah, we set y'all up for failure. But yeah, and so she actually, when we first started talking, she kind of on her own wrote a vocal part to just one section in that song, sort of the mid-song climactic section, what Kristen called the breakdown, but it's sort of like this mid-song climax, and she had written her own like whole lyrics and melody to that, just like posted it as an Instagram reel, kind of like, what if I was the singer for Earthside, and just a little taste of it in one of our instrumentals. And then she actually got up on stage when we toured a month later, and she just got up for just that part of the song, sang it, and walked off the stage. We played the instrumental part before, instrumental part after that. And just with all that happening, when I had some time to think about it, I was like, what'd be cool is to like build a whole new song with the instrumental parts of Watching the Earth Sink into just like this new song just built around this section, and then hand it to her and say like, hey, what do you want to write the rest of the vocal part, flesh this out. So like almost all the instrumental sections in Earthsink, they're just me kind of like almost like an electronic music artist, like chopping up the stems of the original Watching the Earthsink, like taking just the original drum beats and cutting them up and using the mixed drums, the mixed rhythm guitars, the bass, and just making almost like a new song out of it.
So did you know her before this? Did you know Kristen before this, or was it just she did the reel, tagged you guys, and that's kind of how this came about?
It was pretty early on in knowing each other. Another member of Daedric, he had commented on, I think he was an Earthside fan going back. He commented on a post I'd had at one point about, always looking for vocalists kind of thing. And he recommended Kristen, and then we checked her. I was like, oh, okay. And then we started messaging a little bit. And then that led to her doing that. And so it was kind of a mixture of organic and some things that were more a little bit strategic or planned. But yeah, I mean, most of it just kind of took off on its own and has just kind of continued building momentum.
What do you look for in a vocalist then? I know, because like with her, I mean, dude, she can be singing and it's harmonies and it's beautiful, and all of a sudden she just gets vicious. I think it's a good way to describe her screams. It's vicious. So like, what do you as a band look for when you have a song that you want to have somebody put vocals on? Like, what are you in the band looking for in that vocalist?
So much of it, I think, is just like the emotion that we feel when hearing it. It's hard to put as like an objective quality. It's what the emotional response we have listening to their voice, and then imagining that the people for whom our music most resonates will similarly feel that same emotional quality in their voice. And also just a singer where that person can make someone feel things that just other singers can't, that they have some unique quality of their own. And so I think pretty much every singer we worked with that I could think of, they have something that stands out about them, something that is their unique talent, their signature, as it were, and a pretty recognizable voice, as opposed to somebody who sounds like just singer X, or AI generated singer. Now that we're in, that world, I think the singers we work with all have real character to their voice. There's a unique expressiveness and a unique timbre to their voice that they bring. And so yeah, some of it is just we hear it and you like it and you know what you like, and you don't want to over intellectualize the emotional reaction you have. You just have it. But then, you can go back and think, well, part of why I feel this way probably is because there's this unique quality they have that just other people don't.
So no, that's cool. I was like kind of wondering how this kind of all goes. And I know with you guys too, you have a cruise coming up. I know Shiprocked is a big one that just kind of got done. There's a few bands I know they went on that for the first time. So you have I think it's Cruise for the Edge. Is this the first cruise you guys have done as a band?
First one we played, yeah, Cruise to the Edge. It's a progressive rock cruise. Probably not too many radio relevant bands on there. I think Queensryche probably got played on some rock stations back in the day, and they're on there. And if you guys ever do like an 80s at 8, maybe you'll play some Queensryche. But yeah, I think actually, I just, speaking of Shiprocked, I just got off 70,000 Tons of Metal cruise. We didn't play it, but I hung out with some musicians I'm friends with, and just a bunch of other people who aren't musicians I became friends with. It was a very exciting time. I think 70K and Shiprocked feel a little rivalry over who's the cooler cruise. And Cruise to the Edge is just very like, well, we're prog. We don't need to get in on this. So, I mean, I think Cruise to the Edge is a bit more to that sort of classic prog rock clientele, as far as who tends to, like, it's often like guys from Yes and Genesis and Rush, or that era of prog. But I think they're more transitioning to have newer bands and cater to a newer, younger, heavier audience as well. I think we're a slight oddball on there, that we're probably going to be one of the most metal bands on the cruise and one of the younger audiences on the cruise. But it's a chance to play a cruise. I mean, it's pretty sick. And if somebody tells us their cool stories from the 70s of when they saw King Crimson for the first time in 71, I'm all ears. Let's go.
There you go. There you go. I love that. It's cool. I have not been on one of those cruises yet. I would like to at some point check it out and just kind of see what it's like, and what it's like to watch a concert on a ship or on an island somewhere, and just be like, oh, we're on a ship, we're moving, we're rocking out and everything. So when do you guys set sail on that?
I think the first day of the cruise, I think it's March 4th. That probably also, I think, is when it sets sail. Yeah, March 4th and 9th is the cruise dates, and then a week and a half later, we play a festival in Chile, our first time in Latin America. And then just 2 days ago, we announced our first ever European headline tour. So nice. We're doing this radio campaign with Earthsink in the U.S., and then the only place we're not playing. I mean, the cruise leaves off the coast of Florida. Yeah. The only soil we're not on is U.S. soil. So
that's cool, dude. It's cool. You guys are getting some new opportunities on things. And Jamie, I'm interested in your answer on this. So anytime a band comes on for the first time, I always like to know their favorite complete albums. Like if you want to give me 3, 4 of them, 5 of them. Used to be something called Favorite Fives I did back in the day, but some of the like no skip albums from start to finish. You're listening to every single song on there. What's a few from you?
Yeah. So I mean, your mozzarella shirt there is an important. We talk about us being like cinematic, and we have a lot of our, not Earthsink does not, but a lot of our songs do have an orchestral presence. And I would say both our keyboardist and I grew up with classical music first. So when Metallica released the original S&M album, that I think was so formative for both of us, and like our dream of like, it would be so cool to do something that's like metal and orchestra. I love that original S&M album. I think the mix, like, I don't know if James Hetfield's ever sounded better to me. His voice is like really warm on that. I think it's one of Lars's better drum performances. I think the drum tone is really great on it. It just sounds really thick and warm and rich. This sonically, I think Michael Kamen's orchestrations are really imaginative and add to the songs in a lot of cases. They're not just orchestra as background, but they also don't like fight the song. They really add to the drama of it. So, and for me, I'm a rarity where for a lot of Metallica songs, the first time I ever heard Master of Puppets was with an orchestra. So for me, it's like I hear the original Master of Puppets and this is blasphemous, but I'm like, I'm kind of missing that thing that I'm used to hearing. And it's like, yeah, I mean, okay, well, that's because this is how you heard it first, bro. So I think that's a really important one. And there's something else I was going to say on that, but I'll come back to it. One, I don't know if it's one of my top 5 favorite albums, but I think Linkin Park Hybrid Theory is a no skip album. I think it's just like every song is just, I mean, growing up in middle school, rocking that album is just like, okay, track 1 through, is it 11, 12?
It's 12, yeah.
Yeah. Just, it's all, I mean, and some of the songs, can sound pretty similar to each other, but it's just such a consistent record from front to back. My favorite band historically is a more progressive rock band that had a little bit of radio history called Porcupine Tree. They had a song called Shallow that was on rock radio like 21 years ago or something. But that's how I discovered them, was my local rock station in Connecticut playing them. But yeah, their album In Absentia from 2002. Yeah, 2002. I don't know if I'd say it's no skip, but it's like my favorite album of all time. And that the best songs on it are just so awesome, and the production on it is phenomenal. Also really love this metal album, Textures, Silhouettes, just freaking sick album. And the last 3 tracks, I think, are the best final 3 to close out an album I've ever heard. Just 3 in a row to just send you into oblivion at the end is just perfect. All right, so I've committed to 4 out of my 5. Got to choose this one wisely. Like my favorite band at this point is Carnival. But I don't know if I have a single album I would choose as like the one I'd put in my 5. All right, I'll say this. I think Seven Dust Animosity I got to put in my top 5. I just think that record is, whether it be production, Lejean's vocals, just such a perfect album to me, and it's such a hugely formative album for me as well. And when I talk about orchestra, because of that dream of orchestral metal and combining the two, and around the same time as discovering S&M a couple of years after it came out, falling in love with Seven Dust and the Animosity album, all in that same kind of 2001. I think that was around when I got S&M, even though it had come out in 99. One of the coolest things Earthside has gotten to do is we released a 10-minute song like 10 years ago with a full orchestra, and Lejean from Seven Dust is the singer on it. So we have a music video for the song. It's a song called Mob Mentality, and from released it in 2015, and it's a 10-minute song with like an aerialist dancer and like a dude, modern contemporary dancer, but they both have little balletic qualities too, and then full orchestra from Moscow, and then Lejean fronting it. So it's a little bit like Fantasia metal, but with Lejean singing, like Tchaikovsky like orchestration, or Stravinsky like Rite of Spring or Firebird, kind of that style. So very like very Russian sounding, so kind of fitting that we get the Russian orchestra. And then Lejean is not very Russian.
No. Yeah, man. Jamie, we're excited to have you guys on Friday. Artist Spotlight for us here in Central Time, 8:30, 1:30, 7:30. Your guys' song Earthsink with Daedric on it. And again, dude, excited to get the song on, excited to share it with our audience and get them out there with everything. So, dude, appreciate your time, man. Thank you so much.
Awesome to be here. And we haven't gotten to come too close to Springfield, Illinois. I think the closest we've come to you guys on tour is maybe Joliet.
Okay. Yep.
Because that's probably a little closer to you guys than Chicago proper. And our tour routing has never like taken us to St. Louis. So I think Joliet and Chicago are the closest we've come to your neck of the woods. So I guess we got to get closer to the capital sooner than later.
We will. So awesome. Jamie, looking forward to it, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us on, Ryan.